It's the Steven Internet Show. It's the Steven Internet Show. It's the Steven Internet Show that starts promptly at 9:30, 9:52. Hey everybody, how are you doing this evening? I hope you're all having a great time because I know I am. Let me read a text message I just got from my best buddy and show co-host with me. Here, I'll read it. I wrote it down because it's awesome. Going live soon, or are you going to keep milking that kid thing? Yep, that's what it says. Are you going to keep milking that kid thing? Some of us has to work. That's a funny comment coming from Roman McNew. Pretty funny comment coming from Roman McEw, Roman intern. Talking about work. Get on somewhere. Get a life, pal. You're watching this. All right, I got a few things I want to mention. This is our 9:30 show. I'm going to come at you at 9:30 every night. Let me know if Roman, since you're the only one watching, let me know what's going on with the audio, if everything's good, if it's all good for you. Let me know because I'm worried about it. I'll move this down so you can see my mouth moving. This is probably better for you guys. Hi. Hi. My levels are good. So we had a pretty big day today in Hoosier Sophisticate land, if I do say so myself. James Carlton, James Carlton State Farm. Love you. Love you too, Roman. So why do you look like a penis? Thanks, Danny. Those guys live together. Thanks a lot. I look like a penis because I was born this way. One from me. All right, so we had a big day in Hoosier Sophisticate land. We got our first paycheck, paying the bills. What's up? James Carlton, we can't do it without you. Seriously, we're trying to turn some people on in St. Louis. We've obviously turned on Roman and Danny. It's working great, is what he says. So we're just trying to turn on some minds and hearts, and I'm not fucking perfect. Far from it. I'm the worst, actually. That's why I'm trying to do this now. It's all kind of a shitty scam when you look at it. So look at me for a whole. Don't just kind of be like, oh, he's been good for the last little bit. No. Horrible person. Everybody can change. I believe Rocky said, if you can change and I can change, we can all change. James Carlton, I changed insurance and I'm saving $30 a month and I have better coverage. I tried to go with him because I was listening to the Tim McKernan podcast. Heard he was an advertiser on there. And I said, you know what? I got to try this out. Went up. It was way more expensive than the guys I had. Well, the guys I had have recently upped their rates, and James Carlton has recently lowered his. So he got me in at $30 cheaper. And this is like 8 months ago when I checked. And he actually told me a few things that I could get my insurance cheaper from somebody else. So James Carlton, we love you. Thank you so much. I'm a customer now. What do you know? What do you know? What do we got? Momed Can Cup. This is just going to be all ads, everybody. Just get ready for it. It's going to be all ads. I don't really have to do that right now. Lifetime Roofing. I love all you guys. You guys know it. I'm here to kind of talk about, well, the show was awesome last week. I think so. I think it's the best show in St. Louis. We had Plowboy on there. It was great. We have Seth and intern Roman and Craig. You guys know the whole cast. The Denver from psilocybin, I've been thinking a lot about it, and I don't think there are many voices in St. Louis that are advocating consciousness and psilocybin legalization in Missouri. And the flow is flowing so hard right now that we need to jump on the bandwagon with all this stuff. I think so. I think MDMA, all the research MAPS is done in all these areas. We need to get on that. If you don't know MAPS, check out MAPS. Danny West says, oh, okay, I thought this was going to be about the picture of you shaving all your hair off. the picture, and I think you're thinking about Craig's mustache, which Craig did shave his mustache. What an idiot! That was the only thing he had going for you, buddy, and now it's all over. It's okay though. We won't judge you for that. That's not what we do here. We don't judge. Gotta like talking about that. Boom, a little likey thing went up right here. Oh, there's more of them. Oh, I'm gonna tickle them. I'm just gonna tickle them. I can't see my own face. Where was I? Yeah, Denver's from psilocybin. I think we need to get on the ball here in St. Louis, Missouri. I'd like this to become the consciousness capital of America if we can. I know Denver's all over it. But did you hear the story Kevin was telling? He proposed to his wife? Are you kidding me? What? They both proposed to each other at the same time after they took a huge dose of mushrooms. If that's kind of crazy. I mean, you can think what you want to think. It is crazy. It's crazy beautiful. It's crazy beautiful. Yeah, so I think we need to get on the ball there. And what his advice to us was from the show was be open with our experiences and what we've gone through, and let people know how it's helped you. And tonight I thought I'd give you a little dose of reality, a little dose of who I am for those of you who don't know. I'm Stephen George Elgin. I was born in South St. Louis, Missouri on the state streets. I can't yell that right now. State streets. I was hardcore. I was a hardcore thug, man. Listen to Thuggish Ruggish Bone all the time. I was getting after it. I was a big vagina. No offense to vaginas. I was more like balls. I was delicate. It's just how it was. I used my mouth to get me out of a lot of situations. You know what I'm talking about. And I ran with a little bit of a tough crowd, I guess. Not really. I mean, not as far as like the real ruffians in town, but you know how it goes. Got my fair share of trouble. It was great. Then my parents in 6th grade got divorced. My mom moved me out to Jefferson County. Talk about culture shock. A little different Jefferson County than it was on the state streets. I got to hang out with two totally different worlds, totally different ends of the spectrum. And that was cool. It's cool to see different, let me turn that off. Cool to see different parts of your hometown that are pretty close together, but are far away. I mean, when I moved out there, it was 636, and my friends were like, good luck. We're never going to see you again. It's long distance, friend. I'll write you. For all you kids, we didn't have internet. We barely had instant messaging. I remember getting in trouble for text messaging. It was 15 cents right after I moved into that house. I figured out, you can send little verbal messages. What? This is awesome. So I did that. Not good. Didn't work out good. So they moved me out there, I was went from I seriously wore like flannels and baggy jeans, and it was not good. I thought I was cool. And then I went through like a skater phase, and I moved out to Jefferson County and kind of rebelled against like the dirt bike guy that was out there, and went hardcore kind of like prep, Abercrombie and Fitch and stuff. Went to CBC. I was a prep, man, so I was going to go probably do sports and probably be on Wall Street when that failed for me, because I wasn't exactly good. Wasn't good at anything that good. So I'm just good looking. I just can't just kind of sit here and soak it in. It's kind of nice. Went to CBC, excelled, went to Mizzou, and I was like, you know what? Time to buckle down. I'm going to be a Wall Street guy. I'm going to make millions of dollars. I'm going to sit on a big office, in a big office. I'm going to sit on top of the office overlooking Madison Square Garden. And that's what I'm going to do. And it's going to be awesome. And I'm not going to worry about people's hearts and minds. I don't care. I'm about that cash, yo. Then I was going to class, business classes, business school, and it just wasn't my vibe. Met a couple of freak shows that I like to party with, Jimmy Nugs and Ruthless Rich, and then later moved in with P. Skittles. It's the stupidest. And so we did that for a while and got into the whole crazy. We did all the drugs, man. That's when they grouped all the drugs in with one, which I still kind of do. We shouldn't have, because I thought mushrooms were the same as coke, and I didn't ever did heroin or meth or anything, but you dabble when you're in college. Everybody, pills were big, but pills never excited me. But I did do mushrooms a few times, and holy smokes, pretty interesting experience to say the least. I did acid my senior year of high school, and that was interesting to say the least. Got caught by my parents and had to play it off like I was drunk. Had to play off tripping pretty hard. I had to play it off like I was drunk. Not an easy feat, but I managed. Look at these blue eyes. They were black. Black as night. So I've had some really horrible trips. I've had some really amazing trips. I've experienced music like I've never experienced it before. I've experienced emotions like I've never experienced them before. Tripping is a journey, just like The Bachelorette. Tripping can make you fall in love and can trick you and can make you. No, it's nothing like The Bachelorette. I don't know where I was going with that. The whole thing is, one of my favorite trips was some guy came in with some mescaline rolls one time. Rolls that were made of mescaline. Now, who knows? Who knows what they were? But I remember they were like, does anyone want to try these things? A big apartment at Mizzou. And everyone was like, no, I don't think, no, I don't want to, no, thank you. Like, it's super potent, man. I've been tripping for days off these things. It's crazy. The guy trying to sell me is from St. Louis. So we were like, oh, I don't know. And at this time, I'm starting to kind of question things to a certain extent at school, and I don't really know what I want to do with the rest of my life at this point, So me and this guy from Colorado, funny enough, only you would compare tripping to The Bachelorette. I don't know where I was going with that, but it's kind of, that shows a trip. So me and this one guy were the only two who are going to eat these mescaline rolls. We gobble a couple of them up. Don't really feel anything. I had tripped 3 or 4 times before this. Maybe a few more times, because I think if Jimmy Nuggs was living at Mesa, it was probably year 2. So I had tripped a handful or more times at this point. We eat these things. I'm not really feeling too much. The apartment's kind of old school. It's an old school apartment. It's like 70s shag, kind of reddish orange. The walls are that panel wood. It's clean, but it's not newly decorated. And so we eat these things, and after about an hour, we start feeling it. And he's like, "You want to go walk in the woods?" Everybody wants to walk in the woods. So we're like, yeah, let's walk in the woods. We go out there, and I kind of lose track of him. The woods behind this place aren't that huge. I go out there, and I'm like, hey, I forget what his name was. Tim. It was Tim. He's like, hey, man, Tim, where are you? And we're kind of like sneaking around like fairies in the woods. And we're going pretty good at this point. And I notice my feet are just sapping, and it's raining. It's just a little light drizzle. They're sapping in the mucky muck. And I'm like, oh man, my shoes are almost being suction cupped off. It's insane. So I'm like, oh man, this isn't good. My shoes are all muddy. I'm getting, I think it was like fall, so it was kind of chilly, but not too bad. So I finally find my way out of the woods, and I thought the woods were dense. Who knows how long I was in there. And I come to this clearing where there's a waterfall. And I'm like, oh, sweet, there's a waterfall out here. Amazing. Two different streams coming together to form one stream down. I placed myself right underneath this beautiful waterfall I had come upon. Arms open to the sky, loving the world. Mouth open. Mouth open in my mouth. My buddy Tim, he yells. He's like, hey, what are you doing? And I'm like, snap out of it. I'm like, wait, what am I doing? I look up. It's two gutters. And I was convinced it was where like the gutters in the middle where it was like so much water was. I was drinking this. I was lapping it down. It's making me want to puke thinking about it. So at this point, I thought I had swallowed a baby bird, that somehow a baby bird had rolled in there from its egg, come down and went in my mouth and in my system, and I was not okay with it. And so I'm like, mind you, at this point, I have no idea what entheogens mean. I have no idea. I've done no research on anything. I'm a guinea pig at this point. We get on Arrowhead every once in a while. So I'm like, oh, man, I'm fucked. Man, it's fucked up. We're gonna do that. So he's like, dude, come on back. We'll go back to the apartment. So we go back to the apartment, and I'm like, oh, I can't go in there. My shoes are all muddy. Guess what? They weren't. The shoes had zero mud on them. Messed with my mind a little bit. So I was like, oh, man. Eminem was big at this point, but I didn't like him. All of his poppy shit or shit they played on the radio, I just couldn't get into. I didn't understand it. I had a good childhood for the most part, you know. I didn't understand, like Rage Against the Machine. I didn't get it. I didn't understand the whole Raging Against the Machine. My machine was producing pretty good for me. I didn't have to do much. Explains a lot. So my buddy's like, hey, man, well, listen to this. Puts on some Eminem songs, like some freestyles that maybe I'd never heard of, some early shit. And then he starts getting into like the Marshall Mathers, and I start listening to Eminem. When I was just a little baby boy, my mama used to tell me these crazy things. She used to tell me my daddy was an evil man. She used to tell me he hated me. I start hearing these lyrics, and I am completely blown away. I'm starting to tear up thinking about it. I'm starting to tear up. I had listened to Eminem. I had never heard Eminem. Took me a little bit of a roll mixed with that mescaline or whatever it was to really open me up to that side of Eminem and the teen angst of it. Because really, I wasn't in the best place mentally. I was taking these recreationally for fun, which is not recommended at all. Maybe a little bit. I don't know. I think I maybe recommend that a little bit. Like a concert or something, if you can handle your shit. You're not getting that from me, though. Now, this is a character I play for all the lawyers. I don't know if this will get me out of it, but it's a character I play. I'm not saying do that. Statute of limitations. This was a long time ago. Got to be careful, Hoosiers. But you know, if you can do it with a little bit of sacrament, and I think that definitely makes a difference, obviously. But it didn't necessarily change my perspective. But I think over time, multiple trips and journeys, each time it showed me something I didn't like about my own life that was going on at the time, that maybe I was ignoring, totally ignoring. And that was one part I didn't necessarily like about the psychedelics, but I always thought the good outweighed the bad when it came to the giggles at the beginning and just seeing movies and nature in a completely different light and being in like a creek. And I've never not felt one with nature, you know, that disconnected. But when you're on a head full, you definitely feel a surreal connection that you maybe have never felt before in your life. And, the Hoosier Cotillion is coming up. I want to see everybody there. I want to have a good time there. It's down on the Big Piney. You can check out the links we got on Hoosier Sophisticate. It'd be awesome to see everybody there. We can have a good old time. It's at Wilderness Ridge. Get all our information on the website. I got to mention a few things. But yeah, some of those experiences were life-changing, yet I didn't know it at the time. And looking back, it makes a little more sense. Dude, Hollywood has officially jumped the shark. I can tolerate remakes of any old movie, but Powder is nothing sacred. This is a very ASMR story. ASMR. What's ASMR? Always sexy mother Reagan. Craig, I call it teeming. It's teeming with wildlife, guys. It's going to be a great place to just sit under a tree and read a book. Unless you're a dum-dum, then you won't do that. I also want to get everybody to Flora Borealis. Let's do some Flora Borealis. Can we? Can we, please? Yes. It's going on at Missouri Botanical Gardens all through July and August. Tickets are $25 for adults, I think $20 on the weekdays. It's a mile-long trek through the Botanical Gardens with a light show. It should be unreal. What is ass? Makes you feel like is that a Sibian? Makes you feel like you're having an orgasm. Always sexy. No. Damn it, I did that before. Always sexy, mister. All right. So let's do that. Flora Borealis. We'll set it up. We'll set up a trip. Hoosier Cotillion. Vibe Tribe. Brian Kessler, St. Louis's worst person, started the Vibe Tribe. If you want to help St. Louis make St. Louis better, help St. Louis make St. Louis better. We are the universe learning about itself. What more do you want? We're all making these connections now. We are all kind of getting to know each other. Let's leave the trash behind, the trash people, and let's rise to the top. Am I right? Just kidding. We are the trash. Oh, I lost some viewers when I did that. We are the trash people. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. But let's just make St. Louis better. And you can join all groups like that. Let's do it. So Vibe Tribe, look them up on Facebook. August 16th at the Boom Boom Room, Prohibition Party and Artist Showcase. Look at all this stuff. These are all connections we're making, people. August 16th, Boom Boom Room, Prohibition Party, Artist Showcase. If you know an artist, tell them. It's on Facebook. mocanacon.com. We're going to have a cannabis conference in Missouri, in St. Louis, at the Embassy Suites in St. Charles. All the best minds in cannabis. If you're thinking about getting on the cannabis train when it comes to town, you're already too late, okay? Talk to these people, make some connections. This is all patient-oriented. If you can go learn here, you can help patients yourself. Believe me, you'll be filled with a wealth of knowledge after that. Flora Borealis, we're going. Oh, and Mycelial Media started a new business. If you want to help your business grow, connection through creativity. Craig, I came up with that today. Connection through creativity. Autonomous sensory meridian response. Autonomous sensory. I still don't know what that means. Or when you put one of those scalp massage thingamajiggers and the goosebumps it gives you. How does the audio sound, Craig? Does it sound pretty good? Does it sound good? Ooh, I'm getting a lot of hearts and a lot of thumbs ups. Can I invite Craig on here for a minute? Does he want to come on, or is he an idiot? I invited him. So we'll see what happens, because I'm getting ready to hop off here, because this has honestly been a travesty, and I feel bad for the people who have watched this right now. I'll figure something out better. I was going to tell that story, and then kind of, I thought about so many tripping stories. I was like, man, is that a good? I don't even know. Do people want to hear about this shit? I don't know if they do or not. I'm just listening to Kevin. He told me to tell my story. What the hell? What the hell do you want? Oh, we touched all the bases. James Carlton, thanks for making this happen. I don't know if he sponsors this. I don't think he does. I don't think he sponsors this portion, just the radio show. Sorry, James Carlton. Hey, but if you call him and you get a quote, you get a shirt, 961-4800. If you call him, you get a shirt. Are you dumb? Look at my left eye. Jesus Lord, lazy. Don't matter. Love you guys. Go to the cotillion with us, please, because I don't want to be there just alone with Craig. Please don't make me be there alone with Craig. Please.